Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad-Bhagavatam class. It's a recording of a Srimad-Bhagavatam class given by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, January 5th, 1974, Los Angeles, California. Canto 1, Chapter 16, Text 8. We request that you kick up the volume of your listening devices. Sometimes the recording level is low here. Without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna.
Na kaścin mriyate tāvad, na kaścin mriyate tāvad, yāvad āsta ihāntakaḥ, etad-arthaṁ hi bhagavān, āhūtaḥ paramarṣibhiḥ, nṛ-loke pīyeta, hari-līlāmṛtaṁ vacaḥ.
kaścin mriyate tāvad,
kaścin mriyate tāvad. Not kaścin, anyone, mriyate, will die, tāvad, so long, yāvad, as long as, āsta, is present, herein, ihāntakaḥ, one who causes the end of life, etad, this, arthaṁ, reason, he, certainly, bhagavān, the representative of the Lord, āhūtaḥ, invited, paramarṣibhiḥ, by the great sages. Oh, alas, nṛ-loke, in human society, pīyeta, let them drink, hari-līlā, transcendental pastimes of the Lord, āmritaṁ, nectar for eternal life, vacaḥ, narrations. Translation. As long as Yamarāja, who causes everyone's death, is present here, no one shall meet with death. The great sages have invited the controller of death, Yamarāja, who is the representative of the Lord. Living beings who are under his grip should take advantage by hearing the deathless nectar in the form of this narration of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord.
So, Yamarāja is the representative of the Lord. Just like the police chief, what is called the police chief, the superintendent or what? Commissioner. Commissioner of police. He is representative of government. So, the police department is fearful department for the criminals, not for the law-abiding persons. Similarly, Yamarāja is the superintendent of death. Death is certainly cruel. At any moment, death can stop all our activities. Nobody can protest. That is not possible. So, and nobody wants death also. That is also fact. But nobody can stop death also. The so-called scientific advancement, they cannot stop death. You can talk all kinds of nonsense about advancement of life, but after all you have to die. Big scientists, professors, they talk so many things, but when death came, you could not save him by his scientific process. Because death is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who can check? Therefore, the Lord's name is Ajita. Ajita. Ajita means one who is never conquered by any other means. Sarat, self-independent. These are the words used. Sarat. Sarat means fully independent. Nobody can make him dependent. That is Krishna, that is God. Everyone is dependent, but Krishna is not dependent. Therefore he is called Sarat. So, Maharaj, Yamarāja is representative. There are 12 recognized representatives of God. We have many times cited this verse. Swayambhu, Brahma, Lord Brahma is representative. And Narad, great sage Narad, he is representative. Shambhu, Lord Shiva, he is representative. Kapila, Kapildev, he is also representative. Kumara, the four Kumaras, son of Kumar. And Manu, Vaivasvata Manu. This is the age of Vaivasvata Manu. Manu received the transcendental knowledge from his father, Vivasvan, the sun god. So, and Prahlad Maharaj is also representative of God. Prahlada, Janaka King Janak, father of Sita Devi, or father-in-law of Lord Ramchandra, he is also represented the Grihastha. The Yamarāja is Grihastha, householder. Narad is Brahmachari. Lord Brahma is also Grihastha. Lord Shiva is also Grihastha. Kumara, Brahmachari. Kopila, Brahmachari. So, there are many. Yamarāja is also Grihastha. Sukadeva Goswami is Brahmachari. So, it doesn't matter whether one is Brahmachari or a householder or a sannyasi, he must try to become confidential servant of the Lord. Then he becomes the representative of God, Krishna. So Yamarāja is a great devotee Vaishnava. We should not be afraid of Yamarāja. Those who are devotees, they are, Yamarāja says that I offer them respect by obeisances. He advised his messengers that don't go to my devotees. They are to be offered respect by me. You go to persons who are reluctant to chant Hare Krishna mantra. You go there and bring them here for judgment. The Christian also believe the day of judgment. The judgment is given by Yamarāja. But who goes to his court for judgment? The criminals, those who are not devotees, those who are not Krishna conscious, they go to the court of Yamarāja. So in other words, it is the duty of the Yamarāja to see that everyone is becoming Krishna conscious. That is his duty. Just like the police department's duty is to see that everyone is law-abiding, acting according to the law of the state. Police is not anyone's enemy. He is enemy to the criminals, not to the law-abiding citizens. I have seen it, personal experience. In one of my friend's house there was a burglary. The police inquiry was there. So we are going in another's house, the police man, and we also. So we saw in distant place a few men were fleeing. They are going away, hastily running away. So I inquired the police, why these people are running away? So he answered, you do not know, Babuji, that they are criminals. Because we are passing, they are thinking now the police is coming to arrest us. Although there is no purpose, how one can arrest? But they are what is called this, culprit mind is always suspicious. Because they are culprit, criminals, as soon as they saw the policeman is coming, they began to go away, run away. So Yamarāja is not to be afraid by the devotees. This is the purpose. And it is the Yamarāja's duty to see that these rascals who have forgotten Krishna or God and come here to enjoy material sense gratification, they must be punished because material sense gratification is always sinful. We may create so many artificial laws, this is good and this is bad. Just like in your country, drinking is good And in some other country, drinking is bad. In your country, meat eating is no offense. But in the Vedic civilization, meat eating is one of the foremost sinful activity. So, here the so-called good and bad, they are all mental creation. Otherwise, everything is bad, nothing good. Here only goodness is to become Krishna conscious. Otherwise everything is bad. So-called ethics, morality and law and good and bad, they're all rascal terms. It has no meaning. Because they are punishable. They can avoid the punishment of the law of the state. It's like in the government in every state, there is some punishment if one kills another living entity, another man, not living entity. There is punishment. The law punishes. If you kill somebody, if you commit murder, then you will be punished. This is punishable. But because it is man-made law, therefore it is defective. A man is a living entity and a cow is also a living entity. Why this discrimination? That if a man is murdered or killed, that the murderer must be punished. But that law is not permissible in God's law. In God's law, either you kill a man or you kill an ant, you are punishable. You are punishable. You cannot avoid this. Because in the eyes of God, the Brahma, Lord Brahma, and a small ant, they are all sons of God. Sarvajuni shukontiya sambhavanti murtayaja tasāṅ mahajjani brahma aham bija pudapita. Krishna says like this, I am that father to whom sarvajonishu, in all species of life, beginning from Brahma down to the ant. So, if you kill your brother, say who is not important, will your father approve? Oh, you have done nice. You are a very nice son. You are earning millions of dollars. And this man is useless, this boy. So you have killed. It is very nice. No, father will never tolerate. To the father, the useless son and the earning son, both are equal in affection. So therefore, it is the duty of the elderly son, those who are advanced, not to kill the insufficient son, but to give them education of Krishna consciousness. This is the duty. It is not that because this living entity is useless and kill him. You can kill, but he will be implicated. Therefore the Yamarāja is there. Yamarāja's business is to see how much sinful this living entity is, and he is offered a similar body. Karmana daiva netrena. You will be judged after your death, every one of us. Of course, if we take Krishna consciousness seriously, then the path is automatic. Automatically, you go back to home, back to God. There is no question of judgment. Judgment is for the criminals, the rascals who are not Krishna conscious. But if you become Krishna conscious, even if you cannot finish the job in this life, even if you fall, still you will be given another chance of human body to begin where you ended, to begin from the point where you fell down. That is Therefore, salpamapi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. If you have taken to Krishna consciousness, try to execute it very seriously. Means to follow the rules and regulations and chant Hare Krishna. That's all. 5 things. No illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating. We don't prohibit sex, but illicit sex is more sinful. More sinful. Unfortunately, they are so rascals, one sex to another, another sex to another, another sex. That is Maya's illusion, influence. But if you stick to Krishna, māmeva prapadanti, mayami tāng tarantiti. If you catch up Krishna's lotus feet very tightly, then you will not fall down. But if you make a show of so-called brahmachari, so-called grihastha, so-called sannyasi, then you will fall down. We are experiencing that. Then you must fall down. Krishna will not tolerate a defaulter, a pseudo-devotee. Maya is very strong. Immediately capture. Come on. Why you are here? Why you are in this society? Get out. That is Yamarāja's duty. But if you remain in Krishna consciousness, Yamarāja will not touch you. Your death is stopped from the point where you begin Krishna consciousness. Your death is stopped. Nobody is prepared to die. That is a fact. You may say, I may say, no, I am not afraid of death. And that is another rascal term. Everyone is afraid of death. And nobody wants to die. That is a fact. But if you are serious about that thing, that I shall stop my process of death, dying process, then it is Krishna consciousness. Therefore it is advised. nṛ-loke pīyeta hari-līlāmṛtaṁ vacaḥ. Oh, the human society, you have got this body. Just go on drinking the nectarine of Krishna katha. It is advised here. nṛ-loke. Especially it has been advised in the nṛ-loke, the human society. It is not addressed to the dog-loke or cat-loke. They cannot. They have no capacity. Therefore it has been nṛ-loke. Nāyang deho deho bhajang nṛ-loke. Another verse in the 5th canto. Nāyang deho deho bhajang nṛ-loke. Kaśtān kāmān arati virbhujang ji. These are the bhagavān. There is no comparison, there is no literature throughout the universe like Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no comparison, there is no competition. Every word is for the good of the human society. Every word, each and every word. Therefore we stress so much in the book distribution. Somewhere or other, if the book goes in one's hand, he will be benefited. At least he will see, they have taken so much price, let me see what is there. If he reads one sloka, his life will be successful. If he reads one sloka, one word, this is such nice things. Therefore you are stressing so much. Please distribute book, distribute book, distribute book. Guitar mridanga. We are chanting, playing our mridanga. It is hard within this room or little more. But this mridanga will go home to home, country to country, community to community. This mridanga. So, it is advised that nṛ-loke, nṛ-loke means the human form of body. In the human society. We don't discuss that this American society or this is European society, this is Indian society. No, all human beings. All human beings. It doesn't matter what he is. All human beings. What to speak of civilized men, even uncivilized, anarja, they are also described in the Bhagavad. Kirata hunand pulinda pukkasa abhira sambha javana khasadaya. These names are there. Kirata. Kirata means the black. The Africans, they are called Kirata. Kirata huna andhra. Huno, the nation or the community on the North Pole, above Russian, German, they are called Huno. There are so many we do not know. Khasadaya, the Mongolians. Khasadaya means who does not grow sufficiently mustaches and beard. This Mongolian group. Kirata hunanda pulinda pukkasa abhira sambha javana khasadaya. Javana, the militias, Javanas means those who are Mohammedans and others. So, they are also included. nṛ-loke, because it is nṛ-loke, every human being. And superficially, externally, there may be this nation is better than that nation. That is fact. The Aryans and non-Aryans, there are division. Civilized, non-civilized, educated, non-educated, cultured, non-cultured, black, white, this and that. There are externally this, but that distinction is of the body. But a spirit soul is not this body. He is spirit. That quality is one. There is no such distinction. This is better, this is lower. This is black, this is white, this is civilized. In the spirit soul platform, everyone is one. One. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. Sama. Samata. Samata means equality. Where? Brahma bhuta prasannatma. When one is self-realized, aham brahmasmi. I am not this body. I am not Christian, I am not Hindu, I am not black, I am not white, I am not fat, I am not thin. I am Brahma. Brahmasmi. That is called Brahma. I am spirit soul, part and parcel of God. My only business is to serve God. Because I am part and parcel of God. Just like I have given several times. The part and parcel of my body is this finger. What is the duty? To serve the whole body. I ask the finger, come here, immediately. Do this. Yes. Natural. If I am part and parcel of God, then my only duty is to serve God. That's all. I have no other duty. That is Brahma-bhuta. It is very simple thing. Not that by becoming Brahma-bhuta one gets 4 legs and 1 dozen hands. No. The hand is there, the leg is there, the mouth is there, everything is there. When it is purified, that these hands, legs are meant for serving Krishna, that is called Brahma-bhuta. That is Brahma-bhuta. Not that Brahma-bhuta means I become nirakar, no form. The Mayavadi philosophy, they think like that, something different. Because this is not Brahma, this is āsta. Brahma sattva jaganmitha, this world is false. Therefore, Brahma realization means that something opposite must be there. In the Maya, everything is variety, so Brahma must be without variety. This is also material conception, because he is thinking like that. But my thinking, if I in Maya, so whatever I am thinking, that is also Maya. But these rascals, they do not understand that. They do not understand that. I am thinking that Brahma must be opposite of this variety. Therefore Brahma must be impersonal. But what is the conclusion? The conclusion, he is thinking. He is thinking like that. But real Brahma, Parabrahma, Krishna is not impersonal. He does not say that I am impersonal. But these rascals say that God is impersonal. So this kind of thinking by the person who is in Maya, that is also Maya. Therefore they are called Mayavadi. Mayavadi means all their philosophy is also Maya. It has no meaning. Therefore they are Mayavadi. They are handling something in the Maya. Therefore they are called Mayavadi. So here it is said that nṛ-loke, in this human form of body, is advising, nṛ-loke pīyeta hari-līlāmṛtaṁ vacaḥ. This is advice. Those who are born in the human society, these who joined this Krishna consciousness movement were simply hari-līlāmṛtaṁ vacaḥ. There is no other business. What is our business here? Constantly, 24 hours, we are engaged in hari-līlāmṛtaṁ vacaḥ. That's all. And so long you are engaged in hari-līlāmṛtaṁ vacaḥ, there is no question of death. There is no question of death. Then if you say, we are seeing that devotees are dying, yes, but death has been stopped. Then still why is dying? He is not dying. He is going back to home, back to God. Tattādehang punarjanmanaiti māmeti kauntyo. Tattādehang. He has given up this body. But he is not going to accept anymore a body like this. Then Mamimo is coming to me. What is that Mamimo? Jadgatyāna nivartante etad-arthaṁ paramam. If you go somehow or other to Krishna, he'll never come back. So, mrityu, death is stopped as soon as you take Krishna consciousness very seriously. Immediately, from that moment, as soon as you are initiated, you promise before the spiritual master, yes, I am initiated, I shall act like this. And if you follow, then your death is stopped from that point. No more death. No more death. Simply an official business, just like you sleep and again you awake. Similarly, a devotee's death is like that. It is like sleeping and next moment he is in the spiritual kingdom. Immediately. Immediately. When he will rise, he will see that I am Krishna, I am with Krishna. This is the fact. So don't fall down. Don't be childish. That, yes, I have promised before spiritual master, before Krishna, before fire. All right, that's all right. Let me break. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't lose this opportunity. You are now on the point of deathlessness. But if you again commit, bhajan apakkautha patettatu jadi, there is chance. If your execution of devotional service is not going perfectly, so there is chance of fall down. So, the devotional service is so nice that even if you fall down, there is not very great loss. Great loss means you get human body, not an animal body. That is stated in the book. Yoga bhrashta sanjayate. Suchinang simatangehe. Yoga bhrashta. One who has fallen down from the bhakti yoga. Where does he go? Suchinang simatangehe. In the house of very rich man and in the house of nice Vaishnava Brahmana. This is the opportunity. This is first class opportunity. If you take your birth in the house of a Vaishnava Brahmana, just like these children are taking birth, father and mother Vaishnava, they are very fortunate. They are not ordinary children. Otherwise they would not have gotten this chance of chanting and dancing before deity and Vaishnava. They are not ordinary children. The parent must take care, very good care, that they may not fall down. They have got the chance. Now train them to complete this Krishna consciousness. That is the duty of father and mother. Now this child has come under my care. Both the father and mother think like that. Not contraceptive. Oh, rascal. Why, here is a child who has taken shelter of me as mother, who has taken shelter of me as father. Oh, it is my duty to train him in such a way that no more birth, no more death. That's what Bhagavad says. Pīyeta nasasya namo chayeda samupīta mrityum. One should not become mother, one should not become father. If he cannot relieve his children from the clutches of death, and how one can be saved from the clutches of death, this is the process. Hari-līlāmṛtaṁ. If he is trained up, therefore you have got this school from the Dallas. From the beginning, hari-līlāmṛtaṁ. They are being trained up in hari-līlāmṛtaṁ. So once one becomes situated in hari-līlāmṛtaṁ, that means he has stopped his process of death. So this dying again of this body, of course this body is material, it must make a show that this material body, but he is a spiritual body, he is going back to home, back to garden. There is no doubt about it. Therefore Yamarāja's duty, Yamarāja is Vaishnava, he wants to see that you do not die again. He wants to see that you continue your deathlessness. Now you are engaged in Krishna kathamrita, vacaḥ. That is the point of it. Just like a diseased man. A diseased man, as soon as goes to the physician and he gives the right medicine and he takes it, that means his diseaselessness condition has already begun. It will take little time. So in the meantime, in that treatment time, diseaselessness condition, if you make another infection, that is your fault. Otherwise, deathlessness begins from the day of initiation, ādu gurvāsram. As soon as you take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, your point of deathlessness begins. Immediate. And if you continue the advice and instruction of the spiritual master of the Shastra, then you become deathless, no more death. And Yamarāja wants to see that actually you are continuing your deathlessness process. This is Krishna consciousness, it's so nice. Therefore it is advice. Now, if somebody argue that the devotee is also dying, if devotee is also dying, how can I say that it is deathlessness? No, he does not know. Devotee is not dying. There is a very good example. Just like a cat, he catches the rat and he catches his cab also. But these two kinds of catching is different. When the cat catches a rat, that rat means his chi means dying, actually dying. And the cab, he's feeling very comfortable. Meow, meow, meow. Because the same cat catching process is the same, but the feeling is different. See, devotee seemingly dying, he's not dying, he's going back to Krishna, he's very pleased. Now my labor is finished, I am going to Krishna. That is his feeling. And others, they are crying, oh, this is my state, this is my family, this is my, I'm living, I do not want to leave it. What will happen to them? He's crying. That is death. And this is not death. So it appears like death, but it is actually not death. Just like the electric fan, if you make the switch off, it has stopped running. But if you say it's still running, that is not running. That is a show of running. Actually, the running is stopped. Similarly, as soon as you surrender to God, through His representative, your death is stopped. Unless you make it nullified by accepting anything which is against the bhakti principle. Otherwise, your deathlessness is guaranteed. That is stated here. Na kaścin mriyate tāvad, yāvad āsta ihāntakaḥ. If you simply know that Yamarāja is there, he is supervising, that I may not fall down, then you will not die. You will not die. It is not impractical, it is practical. Try to perceive the truth that since you have begun Krishna consciousness, to become Krishna conscious, your death has been stopped. But don't fall down and again capture death. That is the instruction. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful examples. Srila Prabhupada really stressed what death means for devotee and death means for a non-devotee. The process looks the same, but the end result is not the same at all. It's better for the devotee. It's actually life, the best life for a devotee, right after that. And the one that's a non-devotee, as he says, what will happen to me, what will happen to this, and my estate and everything, and they start crying and they're about to lose everything. So for them, death is a very, very, very bad situation. All that they worked for, they're leaving behind. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, this is the time to unmute yourself. If you have any comments or questions, you certainly can unmute yourself and either state those takeaways that you want to share, or questions you want to ask. We'll be happy to have a discussion in Krishna Katha. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Okay, so I'll start off with a few notes that I took from this, and also would like to really make a comment about yesterday, the class in etad-arthaṁ, but let's just start with this. We all know in the temple we had a wonderful, wonderful program yesterday, bathing Shishneta Chanda, and the plays and the lecture and so on. Share some other realizations, but for this one, a few things that I had down. So Yamarāja, Srila Prabhupada started talking about Yamarāja is the representative of the Lord, but for the criminals, he's the superintendent of death. Srila Prabhupada made a point that no one can stop death. The scientists may say all kinds of things about science, but they cannot stop death. The Lord does not deal with that. The Lord is fully independent, so he's called Swarat. Then Srila Prabhupada described Yamarāja as one of the 12 Mahajans, representatives of the Lord. And then he quoted the Shastra, that part of the Shastra where the representatives are listed. Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, Narada, Kumara, Manu, Prahlad, King Janak, Shukadeva Goswami, Yamarāja. So these are almost all of them. And but speaking about Yamarāja, he makes it clear to the Jamadutas not to go to the devotees to take them at the time of death. Those who are not Krishna conscious, they are the ones who go to the court of Yamarāja. It is the duty of Yamarāja to see to it that everyone is Krishna conscious. And Srila Prabhupada gave an example about the police. The police is an enemy, but to only the criminals. So Yamarāja is like that. He sees to it that those who are into material sense gratification are punished. They lead material life. Srila Prabhupada, this point he's made before, but in this lecture he also made the one I'm going to talk about now. Here in this material world, good and bad are just mental creation. Mental creation. Usually what we say is good is what satisfies our senses. Material senses. Otherwise we say it's bad. But in this material world, actually everything is bad. But we categorize that like in this country, eating of meat is okay. But in another situation, like in the Vedic civilization, it's not allowed. So it's basically man-made. We're going to agree to this and we're not going to agree to this other one. Like that. That's how the laws are made. But it's not like that in real life. Everything in the material world, Srila Prabhupada said, it's bad. Just man-made. Like killing a non-human body type person is not punishable. But in God's law, killing a human or even an ant is punishable. So Yamarāja is the one who judges after death, but Krishna conscious devotees go home back to Godhead. And from this point on, then he really stressed about the going home and more details about it. Even if a devotee does not make it or take Krishna consciousness seriously, they will get a human body in the next life and they will continue where they fell down. So we have to chant though and follow the regulated principles. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. Krishna will not tolerate a person who is in default. So for devotees, the death process can be stopped. Nobody wants to die because death is scary. But we are in the human body, so we should drink the nectarine, Krishna Katha. Srila Prabhupada talked about Srimad Bhagavatam. There's no literature like Srimad Bhagavatam. And interestingly enough, where we are in Srimad Bhagavatam is Canto 2, Chapter 10. And Chapter 10, the title of it is Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. A very bold title, but it is also very true. Bhagavatam knows more than the scientist, or speaks more than the scientists can ever even imagine about life. So we should read that, discuss it, and in general distribute books. Books distribution, Srila Prabhupada stressed that also. We shouldn't, another point, discriminate based on the body, because we are spirit souls. We are to serve God. That's our mission, because we are part and parcels of God. Any part and parcel of a structure has to do their part. Like in the human body, when the hand is needed, then the mind requests the hand, you come here, do this, lift this, push this, and the hand is doing. So the hand serves the body. So if we're part and parcel of Krishna, then we are supposed to serve Krishna. That is our business. And everything outside of that is just material life, and that's what doesn't get us anywhere. So we are parts and parcels of God. We are not lower or higher. We're not Hindu, Christian, Mohammedan, and all of that. Like those Mayavadis that talk about Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, Srila Prabhupada always goes against it. So rascals say that Krishna is impersonal. That's why they called Mayavadis, because they are reasoning, bringing the reasons in the realm of Maya. And many times you mention nṛ-loke, the humans should take to Krishna consciousness. The humans, you take the Krishna conscious human being. There's no other business. As soon as you take initiation and you follow what you promised to do in the initiation, your vows, then death is stopped. And you give two examples about death, the way is defined for a devotee and a non-devotee. The first example, death is like sleeping. When we wake up, sleeping is like that. You go to bed and then you wake up. So for a devotee, death is like sleeping because the devotee will wake up. And when they wake up with Krishna in the spiritual world. So then he advised us, don't fall down. Don't be childish. In other words, the reason he talked about childish is you promise one thing in your initiation and then you do something different. That's childish. We promise the spiritual master, therefore we should uphold that promise of chanting the minimum of 16 rounds and also obeying the 4 regulative principles that we talked about earlier. But if for some reason we're not able to complete what we need to do in Krishna consciousness, then the next life, we are fortunately given a human body again in order to continue. Sometimes we are either put in a wealthy person's home so we don't have to worry about the material energy so much, or a home that's fixed up, with devotees, parents themselves devotees. And speaking about that, he said one should not become a parent unless he or she is willing to train their child in Krishna consciousness. Very important. When a devotee takes initiation, he said, then deathlessness begins. Devotee seems to be dying, but actually he's not dying. He's going back to Krishna. That's the difference. And so he gave an example as a cat catches the rat in his mouth, and also the cat picks up its little one, its cub, in the same way from the mouth. So the picking up is like death, but the rat is in trouble. Although the cub, in the case of the small kitten, the kitten is comfortable, even though the process is the same. I have to tell you this. When I was little, we had a cat in our house, and this is Ghana. And one time, the cat caught a small mouse. It toyed with it and then killed it, grabbing it, and biting it, and so on, and finally killed it. And then the cat's a female cat. He had kittens. And at one time, she needed to transport one point to another. And I was little. I'd never seen a cat the way they do it. And I saw that the cat grabbed the kitten in about the same way he did the rat or the mouse that he killed. And so I freaked out. I said, oh boy, he's going to kill the kitten. But then I looked at the kitten is not struggling on it. He just felt so comfortable. The mother cat just took and put her one part, came back and got the other kittens and put them in the same place. He just relocated them. And so, yeah, the kittens are not feeling anything. So death is like that for devotees. A devotee who's taking the process seriously, death is like Krishna, just picking us up and taking us to the spiritual world. Whereas for a rat, he's in big trouble. When the cat still grabs in the same way. So the duty, the other one is, the other example it gives about the electric fan. The electric fan being death. We, as devotees, the fan, he described deathlessness as like unplugging the fan. So on the outside, it seems like the fan blades are still moving. But actually, the death process is come to an end because the fan blades will actually stop moving at some point. Then the process of that is over. Whereas for non-devotees, it's like the fan is still plugged in. They're going through the process, a difficult process, another body, another life, and so on. He did stress, though, that the duty of the father and the mother, she should help the child to be trained so that they don't fall into the material energy. That's very, very important that he was stressing. So he says, yeah, Yamarāja is there, but that's for the non-devotee. He's supervising that. But once you get to Krishna consciousness, then Yamarāja actually has instructed his agents, Yamadutas, not to go for devotees at all when the devotees are dying. Don't leave them alone. Leave them alone. So when we take to Krishna consciousness, then the deathlessness is guaranteed. So Srila Prabhupada describes, we will not die. This is very practical, he said. So try to perceive the truth that since you began Krishna consciousness, to become Krishna conscious, your death has been stopped. But don't fall down, and again you capture death. Then you need to go to another body. The real is actually, it's like everybody else's death now. You have to take another body and continue in the material world. So that's the instruction. Stay Krishna conscious, stay vigilant in your Krishna consciousness, because the process has been stopped, the death has been stopped for devotees, on condition that we take the Krishna consciousness seriously. Then the last time we close our eyes, we're going to open our eyes in the spiritual world. Physical body will be left here, but the soul will just have left and gone to the spiritual world. And that is the best thing for all of us. So those are some of the points that I picked up in this Hare Krishna. Any other comments or questions? If not, then there's one more point that I wanted to bring up about yesterday. So yesterday was Gopani, the birth Lord, appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, who came in his merciful form to help us to be more Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of the Lord and developing love of Godhead. So the book that we read from was Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I remember Adi-lila chapter 13 is where I started. We started talking about this. And this morning I had a realization that I wanted to share with the world. Because I've been through it before also with Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was very blissful to hear about the devotees and when the Lord was born and the things that happened, those who came before him, those who came after him, those who were aware that something wonderful had happened in Nadia, in Navadvip, and some of the wives of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the list goes on. They all came disguised as beautiful looking ladies, and they came to the house to give gifts to all. But no, here's the situation. What Chaitanya Charitamrita actually conveys, and that has to be well understood. Krishna consciousness, we start with instructions. Bhakti yoga. You do this, you don't do this, you do this, you don't do this, and you follow the instructions. But at some point, your heart should open up after the instructions of what you do in Krishna consciousness has become a habit, things that you do regularly. Then the heart's going to open up. Krishna is going to help our hearts to open up so that we have some emotional attachment to the service, and then later on to devotees, to the spiritual master, and finally to Krishna himself. Chaitanya Charitamrita is a description of how the devotees who are already in love with Krishna are behaving. That is the difference. Bhagavad Gita gives you instruction. Srimad Bhagavatam gives even more instruction. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is an account of the lifestyle and the way those who are pure devotees relate to Krishna. So on the one hand, you can look at it, it seems almost material. Well, there's a wonderful boy that's been born. We know that's God being born. But then all the devotees, how happy they are. And then there's, eclipse of the moon, and they go bathe and come down. It doesn't seem like they're doing anything else. It's like, well, that's something that, a regular person would also do in a similar situation. Go give gifts and all of that. But actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita is describing underneath all of that the way that the devotees are showing affection to the Lord. That is the real message that Chaitanya Charitamrita conveys. It all has to do with the actions based on their loving they are Krishna Prema already. They love Krishna very much. And therefore, if now you read back or play back what was on YouTube, it's been recorded yesterday, and now think in terms of this person, why is he doing this for each one of them? You see that they're expressing wonderful connection emotionally of love for Krishna. So without that understanding, and as soon as you understand that it is in fact the love that they're expressing, then the entire thing becomes sweet. You're going to want to hear it over and over and over and over again, because now your own heart opens. So we got to get to the point where we're not doing things just by instruction only, but we get to the point where we actually are feeling some emotions towards devotees, towards Guru, towards Krishna, and emotions, the feelings of love, of affection. Then Chaitanya Charitamrita takes on a whole different level. And you see how well the devotees who are in love with Krishna behave. Then it all begins to make sense. Not only makes sense, but it becomes very sweet also. So the point we're making is obeying instructions is good, but it's a good start. We need to go forward to the point where we have spontaneously wanting to serve and having the emotions also open up. Then Bhagavad Gita will still remind us about instruction. Srimad Bhagavatam will also do that, even in greater detail. But the sweetness will come from Chaitanya Charitamrita in terms of how the devotees of Lord Chaitanya relate to him. And that's where the sweetness is. We just wanted to add that to it. Hare Krishna. Any final questions? If not, then again, thank you very much for coming on. To come on regularly will mean that you'll get to that point where Chaitanya Charitamrita would even be sweeter. It's sweeter than sweet, as sometimes the expression is put. But the devotees, how they behave, it's very wonderful. We can get there, believe me, we can get there. But we have to take our first set of instructions on how to live our life that seriously, and then after it becomes a habit to serve, then the heart begins to open up. Be nice to devotees, don't offend any devotee, and it will accelerate to that point where you're going to want to listen to over and over and over again then, seeing how devotees express their love for the Lord by the way they act. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhescha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Again, thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai. Thank all of you. It's wonderful that you come on regularly like that. This is so good. You're going to sleep the last time and not have to worry about waking up in the material world again. This is exactly what you're doing for yourselves. Hare Krishna. Jai. Hare Krishna. I can see the thanks.